Welcome back to our journey through Exodus. Last time, we left off in a pretty dark place. Pharaoh had just given a horrifying order. Every Hebrew baby boy was to be thrown into the Nile River. It's a moment of intense fear and oppression for the Israelites. But right here, in the midst of this darkness, Exodus chapter 2 opens with a glimmer of hope. It starts with a simple story. A man from the tribe of Levi marries a woman from the same tribe. They have a son. This isn't just any son. The Bible says his mother saw that he was a special child, a beautiful child. Instead of obeying Pharaoh's decree, she decides to protect him. For 3 months, she hides her baby boy, every coo and cry a potential death sentence. But babies grow, and soon she can't hide him any longer. So, what does she do? She doesn't give up. She weaves a basket out of papyrus reeds, waterproofing it with tar and pitch. It's like a tiny ark. She places her precious son inside and sets the basket among the reeds along the bank of the Nile, the very river that was supposed to be his grave. And his older sister stands at a distance, watching to see what will happen. It's a scene of incredible faith and desperation. Then, a twist of fate, or perhaps a moment of divine providence. Pharaoh's own daughter comes down to the Nile to bathe. She spots the basket. She sends her attendant to get it, and when she opens it, she sees the baby crying. Her heart melts. The text says, she felt compassion for him, even though she knew he was one of the Hebrew children she was supposed to let die. Just then, the baby's sister bravely steps forward. She asks Pharaoh's daughter, "Should I go and get one of the Hebrew women to nurse the baby for you?" Pharaoh's daughter agrees. And who does the sister bring back? Their own mother, in an amazing turn of events. The baby's mother is now being paid by the Egyptian princess to nurse and raise her own son. God's provision in this moment is just stunning. The boy grows, and when he's old enough, his mother brings him back to Pharaoh's daughter, who officially adopts him. She names him Moses, which sounds like the Hebrew word for to draw out. Because, as she says, I drew him out of the water. The boy who was supposed to be drowned in the Nile is now raised as a prince of Egypt, in the very household of the man who wanted him dead. The story then fast-forwards about 40 years. Moses is a grown man. He goes out to see his own people, the Hebrews, and he witnesses their suffering firsthand. He sees an Egyptian taskmaster brutally beating a Hebrew slave. Looking around and seeing no one, Moses is filled with a sense of justice, or maybe rage, and he kills the Egyptian, burying his body in the sand. The next day, he goes out again and sees 2 Hebrews fighting. He tries to break it up, saying, "Why are you hitting your fellow Hebrew?" But one of them retorts, "Who made you ruler and judge over us? Are you thinking of killing me as you killed the Egyptian?" In that moment, Moses' blood runs cold. He realizes his secret is out. Word gets back to Pharaoh, who now seeks to kill Moses for his crime. So Moses flees. He escapes Egypt and travels to the land of Midian. Tired and defeated, he sits down by a well. Soon, the 7 daughters of a Midianite priest named Reuel come to draw water for their father's flock. But some local shepherds show up and try to drive them away. Moses, seeing this injustice, stands up for the women, drives off the shepherds, and even waters their flock for them. The daughters return home early, and their father is surprised. They explained how an Egyptian had rescued them. Reuel, a man of hospitality, tells them to go invite Moses for a meal. Moses ends up staying with them, and he marries one of the daughters, Zipporah. They have a son, and Moses names him Gershom, saying, "I have become a foreigner in a foreign land." He feels displaced, a prince without a kingdom, a Hebrew without a home. The chapter ends with another time jump. The cruel king of Egypt finally dies, But the suffering of the Israelites continues under the new Pharaoh. They groan in their slavery and cry out to God for help. And the Bible tells us God heard them. He remembered his covenant with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. God saw the people of Israel, and he knew. He knew their pain, their suffering, and their story. The stage is now perfectly set. Moses is in exile. The people are crying out, and God is about to act in a very dramatic way. Thanks for watching. If you're finding value in this series, make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss our dive into Exodus chapter 3 and the incredible story of the burning bush. See you next time.